Huron Valley Schools, January 23rd, 2023. Secretary Pisani, could I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Wiseman. Ms. Grzymkowski.
Here.
Mr. Dimick.
Here.
Ms. Ryan.
Here.
Ms. Dodd.
Here.
I'm here. Ms. Cotter.
Here.
And Mr. Wiseman.
Here.
All present and accounted for.
Thank you very much.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prior to the approval of our agenda tonight, I'd just like to take a moment. On behalf of the Board of Education, we had a tragedy in our district last week. A very somber moment, one that with the loss of a child, it's almost unbearable. And at this point in time, I'd like to pass on the Board of Education Administration sympathy and condolences to Jordan Stenberger's family and friends. And if you would all join us in a moment of silence, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Before us, we now have the approval of the agenda. Before we do have the approval of the agenda, I would like to add one item. I received this afternoon late a email from the Oakland County School Board Association. I passed it on to the rest of the board to follow to keep the integrity of our two-step process as it relates to new business, unfinished business. They have provided us with a couple of bylaw changes and amendments. I would like to add that under new business to our agenda tonight so that we have an opportunity to look at it, observe it, read it, and for it to be brought forth in front of the executive committee so that they can review it and provide the board a recommendation. That way, tonight it would be under new business. We'd approve it in the February board meeting. We only have one board meeting in February, and it needs to be approved and sent on to Oakland schools by March 3rd. We do not have another board meeting until March 6th. So for us to meet their timeline and for us to participate in these changes, I ask that this be added to our agenda for tonight. So with that amendment included, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
I'll move that the Board of Education approve the agenda as presented with the one addition to new business.
I'll support.
Ms. Pisani, could we have a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next on the agenda is communication and reports items from the board president. I have a few items. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in the Huron Valley Schools Board of Education meeting. A couple housekeeping items. Citizens participation form. We always like to make certain that our citizens that are here understand what the process is. We welcome our Huron Valley School community input and comments. A public comment segment will be available for 15 minutes, which include both action and non-action items during section 3 of the agenda. Additional comments will take place during section 7 of the agenda unless the comment is related to an item that will be voted on. If you have any comments or concerns regarding an agenda or a non-agenda item, please fill out the requested information that's provided to you by the doorway and provide it to our administrative assistant, Lori Hill, so that we can honor your request to participate. Participants will have 3 minutes to present their comments. When recognized by the Board of Education president, the board president, in accordance with board policy, is permitted to adjust the allotment of time speakers are given in order to complete the work of the regular meeting's agenda. You'll be called to present your comments during the appropriate public comment section. In order for the board to complete its required business, Board members may not engage in discussion with citizens who are addressing the board during public comments. Matters raised during public comments are generally referred to the superintendent for further information or investigation and follow-up. Just want to make sure everybody understands that. And at the same time, in that spirit, one of the items that our Board of Education has partaked in over the last few years is community forums, where it gives us as a Board of Education an opportunity to have conversations and communication with you in a more informal format. We try to do that at least once each semester. We have set a community forums, and during those community forums, Board of Education members will be there at one or both of those opportunities. They're from 6 to 8. I've scheduled them on Tuesday, March 7th at Muir Middle School and Wednesday, March 8th at White Lake Middle School. These are, as I said before, opportunities for you to have conversations with the board. Obviously, during public comments, we do not partake in those types of conversations, but this is an opportunity for us to be more open and transparent. In addition, I do want to recognize your Board of Education as it relates to a variety of activities they've partaken in over the last several weeks to make us and to continue being a highly effective board. At the last board meeting, we mentioned that day our Board of Education as a whole participated in a workshop entitled Working as an Effective Governance Team. That was on Monday, January 9th. The following day, our Board of Education participated or were involved in a virtual opportunity through the Michigan Association of School Boards entitled Key Ingredients in School Improvement and Student Achievement. And that was a 3-hour virtual experience for our board members, and those that were not able to attend, we passed that information on to them. I also want to recognize Laura Dodd, who has volunteered to be our representative on the Government Relations Committee for our Huron Valley Board of Education. Amy is our alternate. This committee represents our district as a direct communication link in the sharing of information that is important to our Huron Valley school community, both through our local government, through our state government, and at the national level. As a piece of that, Laura will be representing our district at the National School Board Association Advocacy Institute in Washington, D.C. from January 29th to January 31st. This is an opportunity for Laura and other educational leaders to explore and discuss the latest developments in key education policies and legislation, champion the interests of our district along with all public educational pre-K institutions for our students, teachers, and community, establish and discuss educational priorities and federal policies, and network with colleagues from across our country. And then this past Wednesday, January 18th, a few of us had an opportunity to participate in the Oakland School Board Association's monthly meeting, and it was about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is of utmost importance to our district and to our community to make certain that we are safe from those predators as it relates to all the information that we have out there for our students. So it was very, very well attended and very appreciative. At the same time, I do want to also, on behalf of the Board of Education, to acknowledge Dr. Salah and the rest of the administrative team and all the work that they did on behalf of the Board of Education, and really say thank you for the handling of the tragic situation that confronted us this past week. The work that you did and the attention to detail certainly showed a high level of compassion and understanding and communication to all of the entities within our district and our community that were affected by the passing of Jordan. I appreciate the fact that you reached out not only to Jordan's family, but we're in close communication with our law enforcement agencies and had personal conversations with our bus driver along with the transportation department. So I just once again want to say thank you and recognize all the work that you did, and on behalf of the Board of Education and we as a board are also passing on our sympathy and condolences as a group. So thank you on behalf of the Board of Education. With that, recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll invite Ms. Rothler to the microphone.
Good evening. Tonight, I want to highlight a very special group of students from Muir Middle School. I would like to introduce Muir Middle School Principal Stephen Digsby to tell us a little bit more about these students and what they did to take kindness to an all-new level.
Good evening. I'm Steve Digsby, principal at Muir Middle School. I'm so proud to be here tonight to recognize our students for the great things, not only that they're doing at Muir Middle School, but what they're doing for the community. At Muir, we have many clubs, intramurals, and classes such as National Junior Honor Society, Kindness Club, Student Council, LACES, Web Leadership, where students have the opportunity to spread kindness, do good deeds, learn to lead, and to serve. While I take great pride in these programs and opportunities at Muir, I always find it a little extra special when students decide on their own that they're going to take it upon themselves to do a good deed and make a difference in their community. When you see a group of young people who take the initiative, put in the work to accomplish a goal of simply helping others, it's powerful, it's impressive, and it's inspiring. I'd like to thank the Kindness Club at Muir for helping, along with Mrs. Ryan, one of our 6th grade teachers, who assisted this wonderful group of students with their winter clothing drive. So at this time, I'd like to invite up and introduce Griffin Bray, Jack Courtney, Olivia Cuscieri, Audrina Hover, Sam Hurst, and Owen Troger to tell you a little bit more about their project, Share the Warmth.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us here today. We are glad to be invited. My name is Jack Courtney. I'm 12 years old, and I go to Muir Middle School. I am with my friends Griffin, Owen, Sam, Olivia, and Audrina. I had the idea to start this clothing drive because of my quarterback coach, Richard Pop. I look up to him, and at the end of every session, he has one lesson he talks about. In that session, it was being a leader, on and off the field, but at home, school, everywhere. And he gave us an idea of starting a winter clothes drive. I was excited and ready to start this. So I went the next week, and I was the only kid out of about 30 kids that started it. So that made me more energized to start this because I knew how important it is to people in need. Thank you for having us again, and I hope the people who will get these clothes from our drive will be very happy and thankful. Thank you to my principals, Mr. Digsby, and my ELA teacher, Miss Ryan, for helping me out with this.
My name is Griffin Bray. I'm 11 years old, and I'm also a 6th grader at Muir. We began this clothing drive because the prices have risen and everything is a lot more expensive now. I thought of the way it would help people out. This clothing drive is for the people in need and especially kids. I find it heartbreaking sometimes watching kids come into school with no winter clothes, or especially when they wear the same clothes every day. I'm not gonna lie, I do rewear my hoodies because I love them. My mom over, I don't even know what she said, found us, and my grandma over there found us a location to drop off the clothes. It's called, I'm pretty sure like Grace of Hope or something. And so that's that, and thank you so much. I'll now be passing you guys over to Olivia and Audrina.
Hi, my name is Olivia Cuscieri.
And my name is Audrina Hover.
We are both 6th grade students at Muir Middle School, and we'll be telling you a little bit more about the clothing drive that we are doing.
So we will deliver the winter clothes to the Grace Center of Hope in Pontiac, Michigan. The Grace Center of Hope is a homeless shelter that serves hot meals, collects clothes, serves child care hours and babysitting, and provides nights of stay.
These clothes are extremely appreciated throughout the community and will be impacting hundreds of families.
Thank you so much for your support and consideration. We really appreciate you inviting us here today.
And now Owen and Sam will be telling you more about what you can bring. Thanks again.
My name is Owen Troger, and this is Sam Hurst. We are also both sixth graders students at Muir Middle School. We are collecting any types of winter clothes, starting from socks, pants, ski pants, coats, masks, gloves, sweatshirts, and maybe even boots. We don't mind if the clothing is new or used. We just want to donate clothes.
Not a lot of people realize how many kids there are without warm clothes this winter, so we thought this would be a good idea to help them and show others that it's not hard to help and that more people should share the warmth.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Stay here. We have our school board treasurer, Lindsay Cotter, who just has something special for you.
Thank you. I just want to tell these young people, these good citizens, that when someone in our community does something special for somebody else, our school board likes to reach out and give you a certificate, recognize your good deeds. And that's my job tonight as the board treasurer. I'd like to recognize everything you did. You started with an idea and it took off, and you had a nice group of people to help behind you. And looking forward, how many more people you're going to help. So on behalf of our Board of Education, I'm going to give you a certificate with your name on it, Muir Middle School, and it says, for outstanding representation of Huron Valley schools. Because what you did comes back and shines on Huron Valley and Muir Middle School. So on behalf of the board, Griffin, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Owen, and let me see, Sam, congratulations. Olivia, job well done. Jack, thank you very much for starting all that. And Audrina, thank you. So again, on behalf of the board, I want to thank all the good things you kids are doing over at Muir. You're really an asset to our community. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here.
Jack. Jack, it's coming from me. You're the leader, so why don't you take your group back up there, because we might have some questions. And then since you're the leader, you could assign anyone in your group. All right? That's one of the advantages sometimes of being a leader. So any questions or any comments from any board members? Yes, Mr. Dimmick.
I just wanted to say that what you did, is helping people today and tomorrow with clothes, but you're also inspiring people. So I think the impact will be much greater than you maybe initially realize. And just want to say well done.
Thank you very much.
Amy?
Are you sure you're sixth graders? Very impressive. Not only were you able to do something really magnanimous, but you were able to articulate it to us. And so my only question is, do we have to give you clothing, or can we give you a check or cash so that you can go out and purchase additional clothing?
Whatever you feel like, that's fine.
Okay, just checking. And
Thank
Good
you.
answer.
And who do we make the check out to?
You can split it between all of us.
Mainly me.
Yeah, he's the money man.
The money man. Okay, good to know. How about we make them out to? Could we make them out to Muir Middle School?
100%. That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mrs. Dodd.
Where are you accepting donations and what's the deadline?
The deadline is actually on Wednesday, and they will be in the cafeteria in Muir, or Miss Ryan's classroom or Miss Pinner's classroom, which are right across from each other.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well, thank you very much. Once again, you've demonstrated that the lessons that are learned are not lessons that are necessarily learned directly into the classroom. And you are wonderful ambassadors of our community. And really, once again, you display why Huron Valley Schools and the Huron Valley community is such a special place to live. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And you certainly can stay for the rest of the meeting, or I can recess for a couple minutes. Would you like to stay, or would you like to go? All right. I think you're, Jack, I know you're the leader, but I think you're being overruled here. All right, Dr. Salah, I think we have school presentations next. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's going to be a tough one to top,
I don't
Mab
know.
Shed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll invite Mr. McKenna to the podium.
And we'll take a vote to see if they have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
There, for sure. I was thinking it, but it's a great lead into exactly what we were doing at Milford High School, what we're doing at Milford High School. And I want to introduce the ladies that are behind me. And we have Sam Pavlak. These are all parents of Milford High School. And some incoming, of course. We have Emily Lutenbacher, Kathy Lum, and Cassie Pike. This was really interesting how this all came about. We want to talk to you about the Mab Shed. And I was going to have Mrs. Saminsky and Mr. Jobeck hand out a couple things to the board just to give you some examples in front of you. But it's really interesting how this came, and you can move forward. I don't know. But as I said, it was a great lead in to what Mir was doing and what they were doing with their clothing drive. It was very recent, not that long ago. I would say probably around before the fall, our social worker came to us and was asking about wanting and interested in doing a clothing closet is what we were talking about. Just her and I were talking about it. And as we kind of progressed, I would say within a couple of weeks, it was really ironic that Uplift Milford, and that's the ladies that are representing Uplift Milford, approached me, and they were emailing and saying, hey, we have an idea for a hygiene closet. We want to do something at the school because we're feeling that kids may need other things that we may not know about. And we'll talk more about what those ideas were. So it was kind of really ironic how it all came at one time. And we got together. We just kind of found a time to meet. We came together with our social worker, and we started talking about what this would look like at Milford High School. And really what Uplift Milford was asking for was space. They wanted to have a space somewhere at Milford High School, and what would that look like, and what would that be for us? To just start to get these materials. And that's really kind of how it all started with this idea of the Mav Shed. So we provided the space. We started thinking about the responsibilities that go along with the space itself. We found a space. Our custodial team started cleaning everything out. They had to replace some ceiling tiles. They had to clean a floor because it was really just a storage area at that point in time. And then we started looking into the idea of how do we connect the Mav Shed itself to our kids, not just kids that receive materials out of the Mav Shed, but more about jobs. If you're familiar with Milford High School, we have, a general education population like every school, special education, but we also have the cognitive impaired program for the district. And we have adult transition program, which is students age 26 that can go to school are all here at Milford High School. So there are times that we are looking for jobs and tasks for our kids to earn. And one of them is the Mav Shed itself and in the inventory and stocking of it. So the way that we connect our kids is through the counseling department, social work, or the staff itself. If we know a student that might need something from the Mav Shed, it looks very different for a lot of our kids. But I know a young man that you could probably you would see the same hoodie probably 3 or 4 times a week. That's a kid that we're looking for to try to get another hoodie to. And you might every now and then kind of maybe realize, hey, let's get you some shampoo and just send it home, but doing that in a discreet way. And we'll talk about our process that we're working on right now. But there's a lot of kids that may need it. When we first were meeting, we were talking about how elementary kids, they don't tend to hide it as well. I think, but when you get some of your older kids, they learn how to do a better job. And that's the part that was like, here's a part we could fill. This is a gap or a situation we can help with a student, because we don't want them to hide it. Shampoo, we can get them things. And we appreciate what Uplift Milford is doing for Milford High School. So students are able to request. What I gave you is a couple copies there. The first one is that brown, if you want to go ahead and move forward. It's the handout that I gave you. This brown flyer is kind of the thing that you're seeing around. We sent it out, social media, so forth. Right now it's set up with a QR code where a kid could use a QR code. The next question you think about, what if they don't have a phone? They can come into student services, or the social worker, counselor, or whatever will connect. Student services will actually put a little bag together for them, so they never have to walk into the shed, if you will, or the storage area of the materials. So they we can give them a little bag. Here you go. They can request those items regularly, or they can actually, we've had kids just, we've brought them right into the shed and looking for something that they may need or that they want, quite frankly. So there was a person there not that long ago, last week, and they were after some deodorant. So they gave them a deodorant, and I said, well, then the social worker gave her one more, and she's like, well, you sure? I should only take one at a time is what they were taught, that you only buy one thing at a time. And this was her opportunity that she was just relieved to have a backup, basically, you know what I mean? So that's kind of pulls on your heartstrings, but that's kind of the things that we deal with at all of our schools, no matter where you're at. So looking forward, this is kind of what we're using. We can kind of move. Also on our website, if you click that link, like you showed, takes you right to our website. If you scroll all the way down, there's actually, keep going one more, right there. On the right is the MAV shed, right next to the flag. Click on that, and then it'll take you all the way. Here's some items. It shows you what the MAV shed looks like right now. That's part of it. It's being stocked really well. We're getting about 10 to 15 boxes every day. And I say that because there's Amazon can deliver directly to us, and that's a job for one of our kids. They come and get the materials and they take it to the shed. But if you scroll farther down, there's links here for Amazon to get it directly to us. There's a Sign Up Genius if you want to help in a different way by stocking or just donations, cash or check or something, gift cards, something like that. We're asking that to go right directly to Milford, Uplift Milford, and we would handle the material side of it. So it just gives you an idea. And there's the WXYZ story I will show you here in a minute and so forth. So it's another way to connect with the MAV shed. You can just go back to the we will, and eventually at the end of the PowerPoint presentation. Not yet. No. At any rate, again, here's some more pictures. Like I said, there's materials coming in every single day. A lot of hygiene products, but we're also getting a lot more clothing products and so forth, just to visit those locations. And school supplies and snacks, of course, too, that we're giving our kids. Just real quick, I mentioned this earlier, just kind of gives you the actual total enrollment. We're about 1,283 kids, but general education. The one statistic here for me that personally, I was at a school improvement meeting recently, and this was the kind of the percentage, 29% free and reduced lunch. People don't look at Milford High School like that. And I can tell you from my tenure being here at Milford, I've watched that go up from about a 20% the past 11 years to a 29%. So it has increased. Our enrollment has gotten a little bit smaller. We're kind of plateauing, but I mean, when you start to think that we're almost 30%, a third of our building needs some type of help in some way. And I'm just very thankful that they were able to provide that and support us with that. So the next part is just, I kind of already walked you through on the website, but the parent donations, how they're coming in. Again, checks, are preferred, and gift cards, but that can be sent directly to Uplift Milford. I gave you the little card, and we're going to have, this card here from Uplift Milford, but we'll also leave some here if someone in the audience would like them. But that's a way to connect with them directly and get your donations to good use. And the last part is we were very fortunate recently that we've had coverage. WXYZ, if we go back one, you're going to show the news. Yep. So the WXYZ Channel 7 did a story on Milford High School and the Mav Shed. So I'll let you play that, and then we'll. I was just very appreciative that our parents had the opportunity, they had the idea, they weren't hesitant to reach out to me, and we worked collectively together. I mean, that's what it's about. And, like I said, watching that free and reduced lunch rate, it just made sense what we needed to do and start to do. I do see this developing over time. I think it's the start. Every day is kind of like some logistics we have to work out. It's a bigger project than we realized, but it's a great one. It's a heartwarming one. And I'm just very appreciative that everybody reached out to us and we were able to put this project together for everyone. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Salah, and everybody here for letting us come and speak today. Like Mr. McKenna said, Uplift Milford is a brand new nonprofit to serving the community in and around Milford. And our board is 4 members, myself and Cassie, Sam, and Kathy. All 4 of us do have kids in the Huron Valley District. I have one at elementary, middle school, and high school, so I get to experience all those levels. But we are dedicated and committed to this community. The mission of Uplift is to provide local families with various types of short-term support to help prevent long-term hardship. The MAV Shed is our inaugural project. We really wanted something that targeted a large part of our local population. We want kids to be able to focus on things that matter to kids, their schoolwork, their friends, other activities. They shouldn't have to worry if they have toiletries at home that make them feel better, or clean clothes or school supplies at home to go home and work on homework just like everybody else. It has been amazing to work with the staff at MHS. Everybody, I mean, like you said, it's a bigger project than we thought, but we're up for it, and I think we're really hitting a stride here where we're kind of set up and kids are actually using it, utilizing it, and shopping, which is really, really cool. We've been overwhelmed by all the parental support. I mean, it's just pouring in. I mean, he's right. It's just we open the door and like the boxes and bags are just toppling out. So we're very thankful to have students that come in and help us lug that stuff down and unload it and take the trash. That's all very important jobs. That inventory is very important, as I'm sure you can expect. And it's been, just like I said, very encouraging to hear that students can go down, access it. They can pick out their own socks. They can, and it is open to all students. So if somebody that maybe doesn't fall in that 29% needs something throughout the day, they can just ask for it. So, you come to school and you forgot to wear deodorant, that is also, it's for everybody. So, anyways, we are excited to continue to support MHS through the MAV Shed, and I'm sure in other ways as we grow our relationship. We're also excited to just really dig into the Milford and surrounding communities and to help in other ways. You can check out Uplift. All of our information is up there or on the cards that are provided on the various websites and social media sites. And you can also email us at any time. If you want to be part of the MAV Shed in a different way, you have suggestions, please reach out. But thank you for having us.
Questions? Oh, thanks. Thank you. Questions or?
Yes, Ms. Nana.
No questions, just comment. Thank you. Thank all of you. Thank you, ladies, for starting this. It's so important what you do. It really shows the partnerships that the district can have with, outside and parents inside. And Mr. McKenna, I thank you for bringing this to us. Listen, it's uplifting for all of us to hear about it. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Mrs. Dodd.
I think it's interesting to see how parent involvement changes, right? When they're little, the involvement in elementary school is very different, and the involvement in middle school is very different. And what I love about the involvement that you're having at the school is it's in partnership with your students. It's not really necessarily in support of, it's in partnership. And I think that's a really wonderful thing. And the lessons, you could hear it in the video, the lessons they're learning, they'll never forget that. And I think that's so important. So we appreciate parent involvement. And I think this is just such a wonderful example of how it works really well at the high school level.
Thank you so much. Yep.
Anything else? Yes, Amy.
So very exciting. This is an incredible opportunity for our students, those that need to partake and those that are helping. I was extremely impressed with the girls that were interviewed because they really understood the core issue. Mm-hmm. And I guess my question is, as you move forward, what do you expect? What would you prefer? Is it better for us to send you, I'm all about the money tonight, apparently. Is it better for us to send you, set up something on Amazon, maybe a monthly donation, or is it better for us to send you a financial donation because this needs to have some legs and it needs to continue? What works best?
Yeah, and I had said earlier, like, I think the cash and the if that's something that Uplift Milford could see being used, because we had thought about, if a student's house, if a family is out in need tomorrow because of a fire, is that something we could ask Uplift Milford? So I guess I'll ask the ladies, is it something that you would rather have monetary or gift cards or material pieces?
So as the treasurer of the organization, what I will share is that we are a registered 501c3. So the inventory coming in can come directly to the shed, and we love it. Keep it coming. Our overall mission is going to include a lot more things like helping the families. It might have even been able to help this child. I know Highland House stepped up with funeral expenses, but those are the types of short-term hardships that we actually, when we were forming this organization, set out to do. So cash, we actually on our website, you can donate through any credit card, PayPal, Venmo, it's all there. But once you put donations in there, I can't guarantee they're coming back to the MAV shed specifically. I mean, this is our inaugural project. We are going to do everything. We aren't taking on anything else yet. We want to make sure this is set up for long-term success. But we hope that you'll also see us out in the community doing other things and helping out with other needs.
Yes, Ms. Cotter.
Yes, again, thank you to everyone. This is a fabulous idea. And I appreciate the way you've treated it with confidentiality for our students. I think that's important. One thing that really hit me in the little video, the one young lady said that, well, sometimes you see the kid wearing the same hoodie 4 days in a row. And I guess I'm curious, that's something up my alley. I would love to go get a couple of hoodies. I just don't know what size high school kids are or how many.
I'll give you his size because I'll get you his size.
Oh, you've got somebody in mind.
Yep, I do have somebody in mind for you. Yep.
All right,
absolutely.
text me. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes.
I just wanted to ask about Uplift Milford, if more people wanted to join. Are there other, obviously you are the board, do you want more people to be part of your organization to help with like this?
So we will ultimately need a lot of help from the community. We are so new, like we got 501c3 in November. We set a bank account up in December, just to give you a little bit of perspective. So we anticipate, we actually have a hidden volunteer link on our website right now because we don't know what to do with the board member or with the volunteers. So yes, we will need people. There's a contact form that you can reach out to us and say that you're interested. We've actually collected that with some of the high school parents that are making donations because we will need lots of help in the future. Thank you.
Any other comments? We always talk about parent involvement and how important it is. This once again demonstrates how important parent involvement is and what impact each and every one of you have had on so many students just in Milford, at the Milford High School. And what an incredible name that you created with the term uplift, because everything you talked about today was lifting our students up and providing some basic needs for them and really driving home the fact that our children need to be prepared to learn and have all the things that they need so that we as professional educators can provide the tools necessary for them to succeed. So we kidded about, boy, that's a tough act to follow. Well, you not only met it, but you exceeded it. And what's also incredible is the continuum that you just demonstrated, that the act of kindness at Muir Middle School and the kindness that you're demonstrating as parents is just absolutely incredible and heartwarming. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you did such a great job. You don't have to stay if you don't want to. Superintendent's communication, Dr. Slav.
Thank you, Mr. President. And once again, good evening, everybody, and those who are watching via live stream. Thank you for joining us this evening. First and foremost, thank you both to Muir and Milford, as expected and as always, frankly, just outstanding work and a great representation of community partnerships. We are so fortunate as a school district, truly, and as a community. We have people that come together and rally on behalf of those that need support day in, day out. And you know what I respect so much is they don't ask for recognition. They don't ask to be upheld and lauded as some supreme character out there. And that to me is one of the things I cherish and appreciate the most about being a part of this school district. I would echo Mr. Wiseman's condolences. Last week was pretty rough. Losing a child is about the worst thing that can happen, excuse me, for anybody. And so I just want to thank the community for coming together and supporting the family. Not only our school community, not only our student services team, our administrators, our support staff, everybody that came together on Friday morning to take care of our kids, our transportation department, thank you. But also the community at large. You know, I have to give a shout out to Highland House. You know, they provided lunch for the Lakeland staff on Friday last week. They provided lunch for our transportation department today. As you know, the owner has offered to pay for the arrangements. You know, as a dad, I've got a 16-year-old at home. So it hits hard. So to Jordan's family, I want you to know that whatever you need, we're here for you. You are in our thoughts and in our prayers, and you have our deepest condolences. Okay, moving on. A couple other things. I just want to thank Mr. Isaac Perry. Mr. Perry has just done a phenomenal job for the past 18 years hosting the MLK event where we do a march through downtown Milford. Pretty awesome event. We had a great turnout, and I was pleased to hear that it was one of the largest turnouts that we've had to date. So, Mr. Perry, thanks for all you do to serve the community. Keep on doing what you do, my friend. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your leadership in that space. I got one of those wonderful letters that I love to see from the Michigan School business officials. I just will take a moment here. I wanted to give some acknowledgement to Belinda Talent. Belinda is our Director of Transportation. On behalf of the Michigan business officials, it is my pleasure to inform you that Belinda Talent has met the requirements for certification under the MSBO Voluntary Certification Program and has earned the Certified Transportation Director certification. Just to appreciate, Belinda taking on the extra steps to engage in professional learning, to grow as a professional. That's the caliber of people that we have in this school district, people who view their role and take it very seriously and just continue to grow and to learn. And so, Belinda, I was happy to see this, and congratulations to you. We're proud of you and your continued efforts. So I don't know how many of you know this, but January is Board of Education Appreciation Month. So I'd be remiss if I didn't take a few minutes and just thank our Board of Education, past as well as present. I know we have a couple of new board members, and it's pretty cool to be acknowledged, your second meeting. But nevertheless, I just want to extend my gratitude to those who just left the board. I want to extend my gratitude to those that are sitting at the seat here this evening. Board members are volunteers. They are not compensated. They serve hours and hours and hours every single month to ensure that our students receive a high quality education. They attend board meetings, they attend special events, they read hours and hours of board notes and board packets, and they check emails that I know they receive on a daily basis. They ask questions, they ask follow-up questions, they ask for clarification on information, and they do that because they're seeking to make the best decisions on behalf of the community that elected them. And so, I want to thank our board. I want to thank our board for taking the time that you take every single day on behalf of our students. In addition to all those things I just listed, I know that there's a lot of professional development that also goes into learning how to be a board member, learning what the role of a board member entails. It's a tremendous responsibility. It's not one to be taken lightly. And so on behalf of myself, the administrative team, our entire staff, I just want to thank you for what you do every day, day in and day out. It means a lot to us. And we know that you don't have to be here doing this. So thank you for what you do. You do have a little package bundle with some goodies in it. Some HVS swag, along with the coveted letters that I know our board members love to receive year in and year out. So many students have taken paper to pen and they've written you cards of thanks. There you go. And so from us to you, we just want to thank you. And I know, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Lori, because Lori takes a lot of time to put all of this together for you and coordinating all of it. So thank you, Lori, and thank you to our Board of Education. Enjoy your cards. I know the kids, I'm sure we'll hear some stories in the coming months of some of the nice things that the kids have to say. My last agenda item this evening is regarding one of our students, Zach Zuber. Zach is a Lakeland High School student who has the distinct honor of performing at Carnegie Hall, which is absolutely a tremendous accomplishment. Zach, alongside some of the highest rated performers from across the world, including Canada, South Korea, and China, not to mention 47 other U.S. states, have the privilege of playing at Carnegie Hall. And it's just an incredible honor. And I will tell you, as superintendent here on Valley Schools, it's an incredible honor to represent the school district when we have that caliber of talent being produced. So I know Barb and I were talking before the board meeting. We'd like to have Zach at a future board meeting. He's actually he's not around right now. He's at Carnegie Hall. So we'd like to have Zach at a future board meeting to share some of his talents with us. So we're gonna work on making that happen. But in the meanwhile, we wanted to share some video coverage from Channel 4 regarding Zach and his incredible accomplishment. we can't get it going. Appreciate you trying. So with that, Mr. President, that concludes my comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do not believe we have any formal student leadership tonight.
None this evening.
Yes. I'm sorry.
As chairperson of TLT, I'm going to announce the names of the
Oh, would
student
you
leaders.
please?
Yes, they're not here. Usually they get set up for different board meetings. We haven't met yet. Coming tomorrow. So I just wanted to say we have from Lakeland, we have Everett. From Milford, we have Alexis. And from the IA, we have Maya. We currently have Cameron. She's joining us for Harbor, but we had Katie before and she graduated in December. So, shout out to all those Lakeland leaders or Lakeland leadership kids. They give us some good information and we'll see them at a board meeting, I know.
Super. Look forward to it. Association communication. Jennifer?
Good evening. First, I too want to express my sadness and condolences to our Lakeland staff, our White Lake staff, and the family of Jordan Schenberger. As Dr. Salah mentioned, the loss of a student is devastating to our educators and our community. Nothing is harder for an educator than losing one of your own students. Thank you to our district psychologists, social workers, and counselors who supported our staff and students throughout the district on Friday. Being there for each other in times of need is so important, and we work hard to achieve this across the valley. I'm looking forward this evening to share about the amazing work of our second group of teacher leaders. As you recall, way back when in November, I talked about our 4 teacher leaders within the Curricular and Teaching and Learning Department. There were some delays along the way to finish highlighting the rest of the teacher leaders, but the moment is finally here. As has been discussed at other prior board meetings, our student population of English language learners has grown considerably over the past few years. We are fortunate to have Jill McDonald's knowledge and guidance as our ELL teacher leader. Jill has been a district employee since 1999 and has served in many different roles through the years. Jill's role as teacher leader is critical as she works to develop a cohesive program to support our English learners and our educators. Jennifer Bjorkman, TLT Director, states that Jill has driven her vision forward, developing a cohesive team and creating high-quality programming that's ensured positive outcomes for our EL students and their families. In thinking about her role, Jill expressed, "Coordinating the ESL program is one of my greatest professional privileges. This role is a blend of team and program development, collaboration, teaching, learning, and problem solving to support our English learners and their families." Sheila Wachowski is one of our newer HVS teacher leaders, as this is her second year in this role. Sheila is our career-focused education coordinator. She is responsible for coordinating all of our career technical classes throughout our secondary buildings and the career readiness goals that are now present in every grade level across the district. She is the liaison between the Teaching and Learning Department and our educators who teach these unique classes. Martin Lindberg, TLT Director, remarks, "Sheila is dedicated to improving CFE opportunities for students. And with a K-12 focus now, she's able to encourage these experiences at all levels." As our CTE classes expand each year and the interest in these classes increases, Sheila works to meet the needs of these additional students and manage all of the numerous details that are required to run these classes. Sheila loves her new role and states, "CTE teachers inspire me with their dedication, their positive energy that they bring to their students. I'm excited to have this role in this moment in time as career readiness is experienced a dynamic growth in education." Our final 2 teacher leaders work within the special education department. Stephanie Lindsay is our district behavior interventionist, and she was hired last March as the district observed a significant increase of behavioral concerns in our students, especially at the elementary level. Stephanie travels across the district, meeting with our educators to discuss the concerns and observe these students. Stephanie is extremely knowledgeable and in supporting our students in the needs of behavioral success and working on strategies to support them. Terry Thompson, Director of Student Support Services, shared that Stephanie is growing our capacity in our staff by teaching them new tools and incrementally empowering students to increase regulation skills. Stephanie is embracing this new position and is truly passionate about this work. She states, "I hope that my role gives teachers that next step when they feel they've exhausted their options for supporting challenging behaviors. I am a fresh set of eyes that can hopefully offer a different perspective, and I do my best to offer guidance and help in difficult situations." And finally, Paige Riley. She spends a portion of her week also as a special education teacher leader role. Paige is the psychologist right here at Milford High School. She's a transition coordinator to secondary special education programming and helps to support our adult transition program. Her teacher leader responsibilities focus on special education compliance. This is a very important role as the legal and compliance pieces of special education are vast. Paige enjoys supporting our special education teachers and is definitely seen as a role model and mentor across the Valley. Terry Thompson states, "Paige Riley is a gift to the field of education. She is highly skilled, deeply collaborative, and a trusted leader within the department." So that brings us to the conclusion of sharing about all 8 of our district teacher leaders. I am fortunate in my role as a teacher leader to be able to work and learn alongside these outstanding educators. Their jobs do not require daily interactions with students, but they retain a unique skill set which allows them to partner with our educators to support our students across the district. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Treasurer's Report.
No, I don't have a report tonight. You'll hear about it, about the finance report.
And I'll back up to Secretary, Board Correspondence.
The only correspondence I have is I'll be sending a sympathy card to Jordan's family from the board. And other than that, no other correspondence.
Thank you very much for doing that. Next, reports from Board Committee. First of all is the Executive Committee. We met on, what day was it? January 20th, 2023 at 11 o'clock at the Huron Valley Administrative Building. Meeting was called to order at 11 o'clock. Present were myself, along with Laura Dodd, Denise Pastana, Dr. Salah, and Barb Rothler. There were no public comments. The regular agenda was discussed that we're having tonight. Safety and security updates, along with Policy 8400 and its revisions were gone over and are presented to the board tonight. The NSBA, which is the National School Board Association presentation, the Executive Committee members received a draft copy of the presentation that the Huron Valley Schools will be presenting at the National Conference this upcoming April regarding communication as the district emerged from the pandemic. We also discussed the administrative guidelines in the process as it related to the COAT team and Dr. Salah beginning to review district administrative guidelines. And as the guidelines are completed, subcommittee members will receive copies and have the ability to ask questions in order to gain an understanding or clarification necessary. And finally, we discussed the strategic plan, and the committee reviewed a final draft version of the district strategic plan. Dr. Salah shared that a video message along with the plan will be shared district-wide, hopefully sometime next week. TLT Committee.
TLT will be finally meeting tomorrow.
Thank you. Finance and Operations.
Yes, we met last week on Wednesday on the 18th here at the admin building. We started our meeting. At the meeting were board members myself, Mr. Wiseman, Mrs. Grismkowski, Dr. Salah, Jeffrey Van Gotham, and other members from our administrative office. Likewise, we had representation from Clark Construction, TMP, and Max Service Corp. We reviewed, we had no consent agenda items, but some things tonight on our new business that we did review. One, of course, will be the sale of our school building and site funds. It's the second series. And you are being asked as a board member to review the resolution for ratification of this sale. We'll be expected to sign signatures at our next meeting on February the 6th. Also under new business tonight, we're going to hear about our bid pack 9 regarding the new furniture for our high schools as we move forward with our bond work. Mr. Twig from Barton Mallow was also there, and he gave us an update on our burglar alarms that to avoid any more of the alarms going off accidentally, things will be done with a key code very similar to what our badges are. So that will eliminate any mistakes or errors, which was good to know. We also had updates on our other bid packs and the finish work that's being done at our elementaries. Currently, there's very few things that need to be finished. I like the fact that on our bid pack 8, they took a walk through and took an inventory of all of the hardware and the doors and everything that will be needed so we can stay on schedule and have those ordered. Likewise, we had an update on our bid pack 9. And Mr. Wolford from Max Service Corporation gave us an update on electric vehicle. And he said right now that Huron Valley, we don't buy enough vehicles, but he does believe that we can be competitive with the MSBO bus program. So we'll need to approach this in an a la carte fashion, as he described, offering all of those services. Likewise, Jeffrey told us about, it's out for right now for bid regarding a building utilization feasibility study, which will be taking place. That is part of our new strategic plan. Had a peek at our budget right now, what we've spent and what we actual budgeted, and we'll probably be making a couple of adjustments moving forward in the next quarter. They brought up some further discussions for our next meeting. Our meeting concluded at 11 o'clock. So everything else you'll hear tonight under new business.
Thank you very much. Communications marketing.
All right. We had our first meeting on, hold on, the date. Where's the date? January 17th at the administration building. Members present were myself, Ms. Rosenkowski, Ms. Ryan, Ms. Rothler, Dr. Sala, and Kim Willis. Ms. Willis, I should say, since I missed everybody else. We had no public comment. On our regular agenda, we talked about the strategic plan rollout, that they're doing a great job getting a very professionally done packet created to be distributed both virtually and in paper form. And there's a plan to roll that out and share it with the community, social media, all those things. Talked about JK and kindergarten orientation plan and distribution of information. JK kindergarten orientation will be March 16th. Information's going out, and we're working on making sure that we get all those junior kindergartners and kindergartners ready for their first year. HVS website change. Communications updated the committee on some changes made and progress for the website. New pages, updated pictures, fixed links, updated documents. There was a request to have all the schools add their attendance phone number. We actually had a long conversation about attendance phone numbers and how easy or challenging it is to get to the attendance line, and making sure that information is really easy to find. We also decided to make sure that website updates and changes would be added to our regular agenda. We also discussed the HVS web coordinator responsibilities. We have staff at each building who are responsible to help with the website and making sure we get job descriptions written and information out to make sure that job's clear. We discussed school safety and security and the formation of a new safety and security committee. We're making sure there's a board member on that committee and that the prosecutor's office is invited. We also discussed security measures, just updated security measures that I think also Lindsay discussed at in the Finance and Operations meeting. Finally, we talked about a Milford Cinema partnership, and we'll hear more about that soon. We talked a little bit about the Friday Forum layout and really just venues for communication, taking a look at how many people use the Friday Forum and some of our other communication forums, whatever those are. We also talked about committee dates. We're going to be moving committees to the first Wednesday of the month at 3:30 p.m. We adjourned at 4:30 p.m. and our next meeting will be February 8th at 3:30 p.m.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is public comments. Lori, do we have any public comments tonight? Does anyone in the audience have any public comments at this point in time? Seeing none. Next is consent agenda, followed by unfinished business and new business. I just want to take a moment to inform the community and our community that's live streaming us that the work of the district really revolves around a lot of different things that we talk about and you experienced even today within our agenda. But I think it's also important that a number of times the Board of Education has discussions and or reviews items that will require a vote into the future. And our board agenda is set up where we have consent agenda items. Consent agenda items usually revolve around items that are ongoing, that occur quite often, and are just part of the normal course of business. For example, tonight we have 3 items: approval of the minutes from last board meeting, approval of summary of expenditures and check register, which the Board of Education receives, reviews, and asks questions of, and the approval of the personnel report, which is required that we as a board approve, but it goes through Human Resources, and they provide to us a report of those people that have been hired or have chosen to take a different position somewhere else. Those fall under consent agenda. Then the normal course of business, we have both new business and unfinished business. We try to follow a 2-step process. That new business is basically, sometimes we call it first reading. It's an opportunity for the Board of Education to review the items that might come up for a vote into the future. It gives us an opportunity at the various subcommittees to discuss what those items are and have a full discussion about them. They're usually included not only in our agenda, but under superintendent's notes that we receive on a weekly basis. It gives us an opportunity not only to discuss them in an open forum such as this, but individual questions that board members might have of specific board administrators, directed through Dr. Sla and other COAT members. At that point in time, that unfinished business, if it requires a vote, then goes 2 weeks from that to our next board meeting, and that goes under new business. And at that point in time, if it requires a vote, at that point in time, we'll have a discussion, and then we'll have a roll call vote on that. But I thought it was important for the community to understand what the process is, that there is thorough discussion, thorough transparency, and that we have an opportunity to ask a variety of questions individually, and then also within the subcommittee to answer the questions that we might have. So with that, I'm looking for a recommendation to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items A1, it says through A6, but let's say A3 as presented.
I'll support that.
Okay. Motion made by Mrs. Dodd, seconded by Mrs. Pastana. Any questions? Could I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
And Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
We do not have any unfinished business before us. Section 6 is new business, and I'll turn that over to Dr. Salah, Exhibit B, which is Board Policy 8400 revisions.
Thank you, Mr. President. And just a sidebar, I appreciate you walking through that process. I think it's really important for the community to hear that, you know, we don't put things in front of the board for the first time and ask them to take action. There is an opportunity to really dig deep and ask questions. And I would thank our two newest board members. We got a couple of questions, from last Thursday. They were good questions, and we were able to add some clarification and make a correction to one of the documents that was actually in the bond documents that were presented. So we appreciate that. That's why we have the process, so that we can ensure that everything is accurate, correct, and that your questions are answered and that you're comfortable making your vote. So Board Policy 8400 revisions. You heard Ms. Dodd speak to a committee being formed under the guise of school safety and security. That was also part of our strategic plan. It was goal number 5, objective statement 5.1. It spoke specifically to the formation of a safety and security committee. The policy before you was actually adopted by the board on November 7th, 2022. After sort of doubling back and taking a look at this policy, especially in light of the strategic plan, we recognized that there were some components that needed some revision or that we needed to discuss further. So what you'll notice in the policy here is that any changes are in red. Anything that we're suggesting be removed has a strike through. Anything that is bold in red are just simply questions for us as an administrative team to talk through in a little more detail. And there are actually very few modifications to be made. However, it is pertinent that we make some of the tweaks that are included here. I'll just give one specific example. If you look at the first page of Board Policy 8400, the last paragraph, the law actually says that we should have a county prosecutor as a member of our school safety committee. We have to bear in mind that when these laws are written, they're oftentimes written for counties in the UP all the way to counties in Southeast Michigan. Obviously, there are very different configurations in our counties. So here, Oakland County has 28 school districts. It would be impossible for Karen McDonald to be on every single school safety committee in every single community represented in our county. So we've added some language here to say that the district shall include by invitation, essentially offering the invitation to the county prosecutor's office, and then the county prosecutor's office can choose to send a representative, or they can attend, or neither. But at the very least, we're fulfilling our due diligence under the law. So it's just one example of that policy. Again, we are not asking for action this evening. I am asking that if you have any questions, please send them to me so that we can ensure that we capture those questions and make provide responses and or make any alterations. We will bring it back during the next board meeting and request that you approve the policy as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Slaughter. Are there any questions or comments at this present time? Okay, yeah, and we'll bring it back at the next meeting with a recommendation to approve. All right. Next, Dr. Slaughter, sale of 2023 school building and site bonds, Series 2.
Thank you, and I would actually invite Mr. Van Gotham to serve on this one.
Thank you, Dr. Salah. So the community was very generous to us in 2019. We went out for a no tax rate increase in our bond millage, which allowed us to ask for $182 million to be sold in 2 series. We sold the first series in the spring of 2020, right around the time of the start of a global pandemic. The goal was that we were hopeful to sell the second series in 2024 based on market values of our property, which is really the driver of when we're able to go out for these sales. And I'm happy to report that due to increase in property value, both commercial and residential, above and beyond what we expected, we're able to go out for the second series, which is $70 million, the remaining monies, and sell those to the public. And so this is the start of that process. Again, we're not asking for approval this evening, but the beginning of at least reviewing the authorizing resolution that allows us as a district to go out and sell these remaining bonds. Again, the community did approve this sale, but the board still has to take action as it relates to the formal selling of the second series. So we'll come back to you in February for a formal request to sell the remaining $70 million. But we have all of our service providers, including our financial district advisor of PFM, our bond underwriter, Stifel Public Finance. And so, again, this is a first read, but excited to be able to sell the remaining bonds so that we can complete the work that we discussed, which really been about 5 years now since we started the strategic planning on the bond. So thank you.
Any questions? That'll come to the board, next board meeting. I think it's important to note the document that was provided to us is just a few pages long. It's great reading too, Jeffrey. I'd like to have it on audio so I could listen to it in my car.
I actually have a relationship with, any of those, like we could have like Siri or any of those read it to you.
That would be terrific. I'm sure you get a lot of hits on that. But it's certainly a very important document. I'm not making light of it, but I think it's important to note that this is like going out for a mortgage. And the better your credit rating is, the better your rates you receive. Our rating is extraordinarily robust. But it's also important to note that it is backed by the state of Michigan, which makes our bonds even that more attractive. So I think it's important to note that, and I know the Board of Education appreciates the work that your staff has done to make certain that we're financially sound and that we're doing what we promised that we would be doing with the bonds that have already been sold and the projects that we're already enjoying. So thank you very much. Dr. Salah.
So next we have Bid Pack 9 approval, and I will ask Mr. Van Gotham to speak to this one as well.
So as you recall, in December of 2022, just a month ago, the board did take action on approving a little over $33 million in contracts for Bid Pack 9, which is the first phase of our high school work at Lakeland and Milford High Schools. We did note that there were several categories that we did not receive a bid on and or were not happy with the results of said bid. So we have rebid those categories. We're speaking of masonry, metal panel and siding, and fencing as some of those categories. And so we anticipate that in the February meeting, we will have the results of that bid. Again, the dollar amount will be much more, I take that back, less substantial than what we had approved in December, but again, necessary to complete the work that we need for this first phase of the high school work. So we'll be discussing that at our next Finance and Operations Committee meeting. And then again, I will send those results out well ahead of the board meeting so that if board members have questions, they have time to ask those before we would ask for approval at the February, I believe, 6th board meeting.
Great, thank you. Any questions? If you do, direct them to Dr. Salah or Mr. Van Gotham. Next.
So for this last one, I'm going to ask Mr. Van Gotham to speak to this as well, but we also have TMP Architecture and our own Director of Capital Improvement, Maintenance and Operations, John Reeby, here in the audience. So if there are any questions, they're prepared to answer those questions as it relates to the furniture bid. So with that, Mr. Van Gotham.
Yeah, and so we had as part of our cooperative program, one of the things that we've been really successful at is our furniture. And so all of the contracts that you have before you in this first read are co-op partners, which is a wonderful thing. So not only can our district buy furniture off of this bid, but other districts or municipalities have the opportunity to do so. And we know that there's actually been a couple hits out there for other people who have wanted to buy off of our furniture bid. That being said, we had a strategy of the furniture that we wanted to acquire for not only the elementaries, middle schools, and high schools, but are executing on that plan. And that was a committee made up of staff as well as administration in deciding what type of pieces we wanted with respect to furniture. Again, this is a first read, but it's important to note that these were items that were selected not by one person, but by a committee of people that was, well represented of staff and administration. And so, as Dr. Salah mentioned, we do have Bill Weinrock from TMP, who is one of our key parts of our team here as we do this bond work. He's happy to speak specifically if you have questions on the furniture, but we're happy to report that we are happy with the results of the bid that we have, and we're happy with the furniture that we're selecting. So again, for a first read, if there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Questions, comments? Ms. Cotter?
No, I'll just comment that at our finance operations meeting, the ladies that presented it was a very comprehensive presentation, and I was happy with their furniture.
Any other comments, questions? The information you provided really gets down into the details of each piece of furniture and where we're getting it. I think one of the benefits that we recognized too was that because this was part of our co-op, these were prices that we received a while back that are continue to be recognized and honored.
Yeah, so as an example, we had a good question from one of the board members earlier regarding, like we have one of them is a cot, for instance. And so if you look at the retail price of that, you're between $800 and $900. And I believe in our co-op, we're at somewhere just shy of $700. So as an example, some of those prices that we have are better than you could even get from a catalog. And sometimes catalog is what some of these vendors are providing for other co-ops. But our co-op has a unique piece where, there's a large administrative fee that some of these co-ops are charging. And so as part of our strategy, we wanted to be reasonable. We have buying power as Huron Valley Schools, being one of the top 25 districts in the state. And they've been able to use that to influence, how we are able to buy things. And it helps that we have strong buying power and a $125 million annual budget that really gives us a lot of flexibility.
Excuse me. So when you say you were in a part of a co-op and somebody's buying from it, we're the ones that are receiving some of those dollars that other co-ops might have been receiving in the past.
Yes, we are, I believe, the only district in the state of Michigan that created their own co-op and are in year really 3 of that rollout. So pretty proud of the work that we've done to establish that and maintain and want to grow that really.
Okay. Well, the rest of the board keep on asking those questions because there's a lot of detail and some, I would say, unusual type furniture that you might not think would be occurring or being placed in a school, but it has a purpose, whether it's for our special needs students, our general ed students, our quite frankly, our health providers, so on and so forth. So over the next couple of weeks, continue to take a look at it, ask the questions through Dr. Salah. I was going to turn this next one over to you, but since I'm the one that added it to the agenda, right, I'll ask myself to explain this. But as I said earlier, we received this late afternoon. It's through Oakland County School Board Association. It's something that occurs on an annual basis, and it doesn't come as a surprise that I just received it at the last minute. But for us to follow the process that we honor as it relates to 2 steps, I've added that. But you can see as you look through this over the next couple of weeks, the new resolutions, there's only 2 of them. One is, I think, on page 3 that Lori provided to us. One of the proposed new resolutions is about school nutrition. The Oakland County School Board Association supports the expansion of free and reduced meals programs to include all children, as was done during the pandemic. We all realize that that's changed. Only certain students now receive those food items for free. The other one was around school safety, where the Oakland County School Board Association supports that there be adequate state resources to allow schools to both educate and keep students and staff safe. So those were 2. And then the other proposed amendment just below that, it revolves around the school finance research collaborative, where the OCSBA supports implementation of the recommendations of the school finance research collaboration, including the recommended additional studies on capital cost infrastructure and transportation, while implementing those recommendations, and that the higher funded districts would be held harmless. So please take a look at all these things. It's something that we have to go through the process of reviewing and providing a recommendation one way or the other as support or opposition, and forward that to Oakland County School Board Association. Public comments. Any public comments? Last chance. Going once, going twice. Good and welfare. Any good and welfare tonight? Yes, Ms. Bastana.
I want to wish Dr. Salah happy birthday. Thanks for spending your birthday at the school board meeting.
Couldn't imagine being in there.
It was interesting. We were looking at the strategic plan at our last subcommittee meeting, and They put a photo of him when he first became superintendent in Huron Valley. And I said, that doesn't even look like you anymore. So I just left it at that. But happy birthday.
Thank you.
I won't ask you how old you are or how old you feel right now. Glad to have you here. Any other good and welfare? Next, we do have. Oh, do you have Dr. Salah? Do we have sound? We do.
It was an accident. And